Hey everybody, it's me, Carissa Dez. I am here at a climate strike at City Council in Portland, Oregon. I'm here with Extinction Rebellion. Their action just started.
But Inferno is also very real. That is why we need to turn up the heat on our electeds. We need to demand to be in line with the climate science, which clearly states that we need a substantial downturn in carbon emissions by 2025, with emissions halved by 2030. Starting now, we need action steps to reduce emissions annually. The mayor bragging about spending 0.0002% on reducing emissions is a monstrous and deadly joke. And we need to hold our leaders accountable. Any day now, they should be releasing their annual report on the climate emergency, and we need to be in their council chamber sending a strong message about what we expect from them, letting them know that we are extremely bothered.
Hey Kyle.
So bothered.
Thank you. Due to pressure from many BIPOC leaders, the city budget did include some resiliency measures, but not nearly enough. There is work going on at Portland Clean Energy Fund, among other groups, to distribute portable heat pumps to some of Portland's most vulnerable residents. Bill Shift is considering additional cooling standards. Portland Bureau of Emergency Management is improving cooling shelters and training responders for heat events, as well as distributing educational materials on coping with heat to low-income residents. Advocacy groups are pushing to the city to look at heat islands and develop shade equity policies. After a construction worker and farm worker died due to the extreme heat, the state enacted legislation to address worker safety during heat events by requiring employers to provide sufficient shaded areas, ample water, frequent breaks, and a heat safety plan. In response to this, the business community is suing the state over these regulations, as well as rules. Boo is right. And they're suing over rules addressing worker safety from wildfire smoke, claiming they overstepped the, quote, authority to regulate general societal hazards which affect employees in and out of the work environment. This is unconscionable and led in part by the Oregon Forest and Industries Council.
Terrible.
The same folks destroying old growth forests with the potential for sequestering the carbon dioxide, causing climate chaos and the subsequent heat events. We must push back against these forces that only consider their bottom line and disregard our health and safety. But resiliency measures alone are not sufficient and must be tied to prevention. We must go to the root causes of climate chaos, and that means pushing our elected leaders to take strong, meaningful policies to reduce emissions.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Implement them.
And implement them. You might be asking yourself why we have all this road signage with climate messaging and a highway to hell. Well, you'd think at the very least we could convince the city to avoid actions that will make things worse. You'd think we could convince the city to do no harm. Here from Youth via ODOT, Climate Youth Strike, and the Youth Climate Summit is Liam Miller Gates.
Woo!
I'm Liam.
Kiss the mic.
What?
Hold it close.
All right.
Yes.
I'm Liam. I work with Youth ODOT, which is a campaign run by Sunrise PDX.
Woohoo!
We have four demands. First, that the Oregon Department of Transportation conduct a full environmental impact statement for the Rose Quarter Freeway expansion. We demand an immediate moratorium on all freeway expansions within the Portland urban growth boundary.
Yes.
We demand that a youth climate justice advocate be appointed to the Oregon Transportation Commission.
Yes.
And that all funding from the federal infrastructure bill go to projects that reduce vehicle miles traveled, like public transportation.
Yeah.
We've protested the Rose Quarter Freeway expansion twice a month for over a year now, and we have no plans to stop.
I'm sure these people don't like Biden either.
So at the beginning of the 2021-2022 school year, before I'd really begun climate organizing, a rep from the PPS school board visited my class to get input on climate disaster policy. She explained that the board's emissions policy at the time was in line with the city's policy, and that they wanted to create contingency plans for events like heat and wildfires. I stood up in front of the class that day and told them that their policy is not based in science, and that by choosing to prioritize political pressure, they take part in destroying my future and the future of every PPS student.
That's right.
Later that year, after efforts from organizers across Portland and across Oregon, the PPS school board passed better policy. The PPS school board asked for youth input and listened to youth voices because they saw that the primary group their policy affects are youth. I ask City Council for your freeway expansions, for your climate policy, why do you not do the same? Why do you look away?
Why?
Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners Maps, Hardesty, Rubio, Ryan, you know that 40% of Oregon's emissions come from the transportation sector, and you understand the concept of induced demand. More road equals more cars, not the other way around.
That's right.
We've shown you why your decisions perpetuate the climate crisis again and again. I ask you, why do you look away?
Why?
Twice this school year, on September 24th and again on May 20th, thousands of youth left school to protest four climate villains, ODOT among them. We made the reality of the climate crisis and the perpetrators very clear. I ask you, why do you look away?
Why?
During that most recent strike, 2 city commissioners committed to an end to expansion of fossil fuel infrastructure, yet now I hear you talking about compromise on the interstate bridge replacement project. I ask you again, why do you look away?
Why?
Organizers from Extinction Rebellion have told you how bad Zenith energy is. Why do you look away?
Why?
350 PDX told you that Northwest Natural has lied about their emissions. Why do you look away?
Why?
Now, City Council has an opportunity. Setting a commitment to a 10% reduction in emissions every year would begin the rapid decarbonization of Portland that we need. It would make our city a model for cities across the country and around the world.
Yes.
I want our elected officials to think of the alternative. Last year, I told my parents that if they plan to keep living in Portland, they should prepare for a reality where smoke like we had in 2020 blankets Portland every other year, where 116-degree heat waves become the new normal. That means acting fast. The city must reduce emissions because the alternative is unlivable. Yes, eliminating 10% of emissions in just a year will be difficult, but it's 2022. If city commissioners want to reach even their own goals, they have to act fast. The alternative is to destroy the planet and my generation's future. Maybe start by expanding public transportation. But regardless of how they start, I ask City Council, be climate leaders. Don't look away.
That's right.
Thank you, Liam. Let's get another round of applause. Thank you for speaking, and thank you for the continued work that Youth v. ODOT is doing. We really appreciate it. Okay, another round of applause for Liam.
We're here with the Extinction
Commissioner
Rebellion.
Maps said at the Rose Quarter
Portland City
hearing
Hall.
this week, where the City Council is ready to push through the Rose Quarter expansion and even help fund ODOT's efforts to get beyond the environmental impact statements after hearing testimony from XR and from No More Freeways.
Yeah, feel free to
where
discuss
we
that
all
too.
said that they haven't been getting much. The council members said they haven't been getting much email from environmentalists about the freeways. So it's our responsibility to show that that's not actually true, that we have been reaching out, we will continue to reach out, and we're going to reach out today. We need to flood their mailboxes and their phone machines. We have handouts that have their phone numbers, and as part of the most important part of our action, we want everybody here to call and leave a message and tell them to oppose new freeways and to do no harm and to commit to 10% annual reductions per year. In addition to this, which the handouts are over there, we also have some petitions to sign. we also have, we would like everybody who has a fan, and everyone who doesn't have a fan to grab a fan, we would like to do some artwork on the fan to write down our demands to the city on the fans, and we will send them to City Hall.
Actually, we're going to make different fans. We're going to keep these fans because they're hard to write on, and we're going to make really simple little, like your fan, like this. Fans. And you can write on the piece of paper before you fold it. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so we're gonna make some larger fans, and we're gonna write down our message to the City Hall, and we're gonna deliver them. And then we also have a canvas over there, and we have some paint pens with art. So I implore everybody, get a handout, call, leave messages, email, do all of that right now, and then have some fun with us on everything else. And this is the most important part of the action. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for being here. Thank you for coming. So the fans are just, you can first just draw your messages on. You can also write. So Edie's going to also just say something real quickly about a really sad.
Good afternoon, friends. Yesterday, I was supporting the people who are mourning a friend who did all he could for decades to stop climate catastrophes. He never used a car, he did not use money, he bicycled everywhere. He used bicycle trailers to move people, their washing machines, their beds, their dressers, their couches on bike trailers. He led a bunch of bike
They're not going to talk about every single issue.
He designed and organized different kinds of
is an issue.
bicycles and recumbent bikes, and he's an architect designing tiny houses. He, with a lot of folks, would collect food that would otherwise go to waste, collect it by bike, prepare it through
This
food
is what they're doing
bombs,
locally.
and distribute to people who otherwise would not have
But they don't like
food.
Biden either, trust me.
He thought that wasn't enough. Activists were not doing enough. So he went down April 29th to the front of the Oregon Department of Transportation with 4 cameras he thought were watching him. In the
You
morning
can
at 8
contact
a.m.
them. They
when he
have
thought
an
there'd be
Instagram and a
commuters,
Facebook if you wanted to ask them
and a
directly.
big sign in front of his chest saying, "Freeways kill climate." He lay down and killed himself. He thought it was more important to give up his life to save the lives of everyone else. It's not a game. We must do more, faster, better. And those of his friends who are mourning so deeply because they think it was in vain, because he thinks that what we're doing is not enough. Let's prove them wrong.
Woo! So this is what you can do. You can make your little thing, and actually these are going to take a minute to dry. So you might want to use. I've got markers. And then once we get it done, we're just going to fold them up so that they're like this, but not on a thing. And then we're going to put them all in this basket, and we're going to walk them around and throw them a little note saying, "City Council, we're beginning these fans. Temperatures are rising. Plus, climate inaction means you need to turn up the heat. Instead,
These are some local Portland energy companies. Those who are just tuning in, this is Carissa Dez. I'm here at City Hall in Portland, Oregon. I'm here with Extinction Rebellion. They are an activist group who protests climate injustice, and this is a climate strike here. They are sending messages to Portland City Council, including to Mayor Ted Wheeler, Mingus Maps, and Carmen, can't remember last name right now, but yeah, I showed up a little bit late. I got to hear some of their speeches, and right now the group is writing demands on fans that they will be sending into Ted Wheeler's office. And yes, there's somebody on Facebook that keeps asking about holding Joe Biden accountable and talking about how it's Joe Biden's fault, that there's saying that he's the biggest climate villain. And I'm live right now on Twitch and YouTube, as well as my personal Facebook page and my page, Dez Media. So I don't know if you all can see what people are saying in my comments on Facebook, but there's one person in particular who feeling good. Thanks for asking. But yeah, there's somebody that keeps saying that it's Joe Biden's fault and this and that. Which, yes, we need to send a message to Joe Biden as well, since he is the leader of our country. But yeah, somebody's just commenting on YouTube right now. But yeah, this group deals locally and tries to make change at a local level. And normally they're here at City Hall, and normally they're here at City Hall, or sending messages to City Council. They do a lot of sit-ins, and I actually really like their protests. They do a lot of creative stuff, and they make a lot of art, and it's a lot different than the protests, like the BLM protests. But Portland is a protesting city, so there's always protests going on. There's always activists being active in the community. Yes, Toma on Facebook, I don't know why you're demanding me to say something to Joe Biden. If you want to participate in activism and send a message to Joe Biden, that is great. I hope that you do so. But today this group is out here sending a message to a local city council in Portland. So I think you have to start small, and when it comes to protesting, I think sometimes you need to start at the local level and also work your way up. How's everybody doing today? There is no Biden clean energy strategy. Yeah, I mean, there's not really one thing that's killing the climate. I think there are a lot of things, such as energy companies locally and abroad. Yes, transportation, energy, all that stuff. Our the way that we grow our food and transport goods. There's a lot of contributing factors there. Fast track mining for fraudulent clean energy. Yeah, I don't know. There's not one answer, but I think there are a lot of people out here doing what they can and doing what they think is best. Where of the mining required for all that clean energy? Why are you? I feel like you're sending your demands to me, Toma, and expecting me to directly communicate with Joe Biden, but I am not able to do that. I don't have his phone number. But if you have demands and if you have things that you want to say, I recommend sending him a letter. But otherwise, I do not know how to contact Joe Biden. Sorry. Yeah, this group is out here. Their protests are usually shorter, time-wise, shorter in length, and they usually start right on time. Unlike, a lot of the other protests, like I feel like every time I go to a BLM protest, it's like an hour late because we're waiting for everybody to show up. But these protests seem to have smaller groups, but they start right on time. Yes, I am aware of that. Yes, I am aware of that. I actually was big into climate justice and was studying I was doing research on like pollution and like CO2 emissions and stuff, because that was something that, or it still is something that's important to me. I think we need to make some big changes, but that's not my main focus anymore. Maybe it should be. I'm out here, so it's a step. Why am I not talking about it? I'm just here reporting. I'm not like a genius on all of the policies surrounding climate, or and I'm not aware of everything that Joe Biden is doing at the moment, but and I think that there are groups that are talking more about that, but like I said, this is at the local level, and like they're trying to, or they are working on communicating with like local energy companies and city council to make the changes that they want. Finding ways to lower emissions, lower CO2 emissions, and they want to be a model. They want Portland to be a model for what other cities follow for their like clean energy, but like dealing with lowering emissions and stuff like that. They want to be a model city for sustainability. Thank you so much for tuning in. How am I lowering emissions and renewables? Are you asking me or Joe Biden? Okay. I'm not trying to be rude, but it just sometimes annoys me because a lot of times when I'm at a protest, there's people who are like, well, what about Joe Biden? What, like, how come you're not doing this, or how come you're not doing that? But this is a specific protest with specific actions, and of course they would like to see further change, but this is what they're working on right now. Just like when I would cover a Black Lives Matter protest, people would be like, well, why aren't you protesting climate injustice? Like, well, this is the protest that I'm at now. This is what I'm reporting on. Of course, there are always other issues. Ooh. I cut out for a second. I think I have some mods in the chat right now, and they usually say to keep it respectful, and if you're gonna be rude, then we'll block you. If you have something to say, great. If you have something that will add to the conversation, we love it, to get the chat talking and thinking up some new ideas. But if you're being rude, I will block you. So right now it looks like they're lighting some candles to kind of that represent represents global warming. And I don't know where everybody's from, but On the West Coast, at least, like in California and Oregon, this time of year until the end of summer, there have been a lot of wildfires, and the air has been awful. Really bad air quality and wildfires that have been devastating communities and burning down homes and everything. And I think that they're like, that's what they're representing there with the candles. Life Lives Matter and aborting is a right. Thank you, Anthony. Also valid points. So yeah, right now they just, the activists here wrote down their demands on fans. And they are sending them to our mayor. Feel free to explain it, Toma. That's not why I'm here. But I'm probably going to block you later because you're annoying me. How's it going, Anthony? How's everybody doing? It's like one of the hottest days of the year today. But we're in the shade, luckily. So it's pretty nice, actually. Hey.
I know about this stuff.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Oh, hey, how are you?
Why do you say it like that? You're like, oh, hey.
I didn't think you were here.
Oh, did you not recognize me? How
Not
dare
really.
you. How dare you?
With shades on, no.
Yeah, and like my outfit, I'm all like covert.
How are you?
I'm good. What's that?
Are you on the notification list for
I am.
Extinction? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I get the
am on that
emails.
one.
And actually, the fire truck that you guys use is parked at my collab space, or our Halo space, collaborative space. So I'm always thinking about you guys, and I'm always getting notified in person and via email.
You signed that petition that
I don't think I
letter to the
have.
city. This is the letter we're
gotta go
from the
get mine.
city.
Okay.
And we have a QR code, but this is the letter that we
You need to see them.
sending to the city.
To Ted Wheeler, Dan Ryan, Carmen Rubio, Mingus Maps, Joan Hardesty. I'm not gonna read it all right now, but there's that.
Anybody want to leave some
And
messages?
this is the
Okay.
QR code that
Okay.
you can go directly to if you want.
Okay, but I'd have to like use my camera, right? Okay. I'll do that a little later. Thank you.
Sure.
I was gonna tell you though, I really like your podcast stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you. The music one?
It's doing, like, the whole podcast stuff is doing really good.
Yeah, I'm happy with it, and I have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I love watching it.
Yeah,
You're
and
really
it's-
good at it.
Thank you. I love interviewing people. I love the local Portland music scene, and it's just, I don't really get paid for it, but I enjoy doing it. It's fun. So yeah, if you haven't checked out our podcast, it's called Off the Cuff. Off the Cuff, you can find it on Spotify, and we're live every Sunday at 11 a.m. or like between 10:30 and like 12:30. I'm live here, live on Twitch, and then I edit the episodes and put them on Spotify. We talk about local music, and we interview Zane, Thomas, and I interview local artists, and we just talk about music. And also, we will start interviewing people from elsewhere other than Portland. We have Precious Child coming, I believe, on the 17th to interview with us and be on our show. She's from Los Angeles. She was actually on my other podcast called Based with Dez and Hiram. Check that one out too. We haven't made an episode for that in a while, but we're on season 2. You could also find that on Spotify. Got my own commercials right here. I'm not the one that's discussing it, Telma. I'm just here covering what they're talking about. And I believe the protest is over. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they will be saying anything else, but thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to see if they have anything else other than the signing of petitions and writing demands.
Anybody have any more things to add to the banner before we walk out?
Another message to the city. We got a little space here.
Can I use cuss words?
I don't care.
Okay.
Absolutely. Say how you feel.
Okay.
It's, yeah, it must seem like appropriate then.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
All right. What can I say that's specific? Gotta think about it. What should I say?
Plenty of room.
You can address Biden. Leave me alone.
Yes, these are all going. I'll take the fans and then come back.
There's more here. Should I get the rest in?
You guys gotta go meet with them.
Well, something that relates to the protest that's happening
I
today.
was having such a hard time with it. It's like, I can't do this. Yeah, no, what we're trying to do is I think this is
But the fact that he actually asked questions like, well, because he was true, he doesn't.
all right. We're heading in.
Yeah, come on, just, okay, just one sec, Lynn.
Oh yeah, no, it makes me
All right, so who else going in?
you and me.
Okay? Unusual process. I don't mind going in. Okay, yeah. I'll be right there.
Oh, you know who's doing yours?
Will you all be sticking around for a while?
What?
Will you be sticking around for a while, or are you? I'm just wondering, are you guys heading out, or will you be speaking anymore or anything?
I can be here if you want to talk with me.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just wondering if the action's over, and maybe you can explain the candles. I figure that they represent, global warming and
What did
like what
I do
it's
with
doing to
my
our
face mask? Yeah, I can talk about this.
Okay. I'm Carissa Dez, by the way. I'm live streaming to Facebook and a couple other places, and just
I'm Edie Gillis,
Edie Gillis.
and this is in remembrance of the 96 people who were counted as killed because of the heat, but there are many, many more who were
Okay.
not counted.
And is it mainly was it mainly houseless people outside?
And it was also people in public housing, like Home Forward.
Didn't have a good
These
air
are
conditioner.
names. There were many more than the official count. I know
Okay.
people who died from the heat who are not counted. So we have a candle in memory of them, but also we lit a candle for Aaron Tarfman, AARONTARFMAN, who didn't use fossil fuels for decades and decades and did everything by bike. He moved people's, instead of a moving truck, by bike trailers, their beds, their washers, their dryers, the
Wow.
dressers, on back bike trailers. He would use long fruit tree ladders as trailers with tubs to work with the Portland Food Tree Project to collect food and give it to the Oregon Food Bank and others. He would collect food that otherwise be wasted and bicycle it to places where we could all get together and make it into food and bicycle to parks for Food Not Bombs. And he would lead bike rides, and he would design a tricycle and different bikes and tiny houses.
Very cool.
And growing organic food. He did so much to try to stop cars and have to have bicycle or human powered transportation. And so this is really hot for me.
Yeah, it is. I was just noticing it, especially this one over here.
So when he thought it wasn't enough to make a difference, he went down April 29th in front of the Oregon Department of Transportation on the Max line at 8 a.m. where he thought there was 4 security cameras and a big sign in front of him saying, "Highways kill climate," lay down, crossed his legs, and killed himself.
Oh, wow.
The point saying, I would rather I die to get attention than have all these other people die who will die if the highway is expanded. When you expand lanes and you make it easier for people to go through, you get more cars, more air pollution, more cars, more traffic accidents, more cars, more deaths and disabilities. More pollution right by an historically African-American school where they're already having more diseases.
Right.
We can't afford that, so correct the racist harm that's been done, cap the highway, don't expand it, don't widen it, especially for a multi-billionaire, just to make it easy for his little sports game. Like, he's not even paying his fair share of taxes.
Right.
So
They don't.
So these candles are hopefully to stop the deaths. 1 candle per person that's officially counted, and also remind us how hot it is and how far it can travel. Let's see if we can stop it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for life
thank you.
savings.
Thank you so much. I have a question. This person, I don't know if you can speak to it, but this person keeps asking me over and over again why I'm not addressing this. Being kind of rude, but they're wondering about, they're saying that clean energy is a fraud because a lot of people are pro-mining for clean energy. Can you speak on that at all?
I don't mind. I'm going to get my face.
Okay, it's a little unrelated, but still has to do with climate.
I don't know many people who are mining for the sun. You can have passive sun where you face the windows, or you have the black for the water heating up.
Right.
That doesn't involve any mining. And then active solar, there are ways in which you can get more effective batteries. It doesn't have to be necessarily mining for lithium, like in Eastern Oregon. You can have clean energy, reducing the amount. Like my friend Aaron,
Reducing.
bicycling.
That's the best way.
And,
Yeah.
and having designs for your home and your business and everything, your shopping is nearby. You can have less energy being wasted on housing and designs by having it better designed to have better livable temperatures and clean air and water, and then not wasting so much energy on sewer and that. So yes, methane, so-called natural gas, frack gas, is not clean energy. It is far more harmful and destructive than carbon dioxide, more harmful than coal and petroleum. I think a lot of times folks are saying we are going to demand perfection as opposed to progress.
That's what I was saying too.
More and more people are dying. So yes, hydroelectric dams increase destruction of forest land
And the salmon
carbon,
population.
and they increase heating of the water, and that lets off methane. But we don't need to have big hydro dams. We have small. In fact, even in our water sewer system, you have lots of small, clean propellers that are like water mills getting energy. We don't have to have big, major, far away. We have lots of small, local.
I do.
These things can be loaded
Yeah, I'll leave in just a minute. But if you wanted to sum up what you were saying, so I could go move my car. If you had one last thing to say or anything, that'd be great. I want to keep talking to you, but
I think there's nothing fraudulent about clean energy. I think it's fraudulent sometimes people claim things are clean energy. Methane is not clean. Big major
It goes over with those guys. They just
monopolies are not clean. But you can have diversified, democratized, decentralized, small, regenerative energy.
right, not like these huge plants, but rather have, like
My
you said,
daughter is
diversify
backpacking
it.
from Mexico to Canada, and she was going before and during the Mojave Desert, where they had all these big windmills, and then they had this huge, long transmission line. My father worked for 45 years for the Pacific Power and Light, and you lose so much energy on long distance, big power. It's unsafe, it's unreliable, and then of course you can always have a monopoly that jacks up the price and is unsafe, or you don't maintain it, you get these fires. But lots of little small things that are local and democratically controlled, and that can come and go with the need. That is clean energy. So let's clean up our act, clean up our attitude, clean up the way we communicate
Right.
about mutual care and respect. That's where we can put our energy into something that is
Yes, and congratulate progress, and not just it's not black and white. Like we can diversify, we can
Well,
make small
coal is
changes
black.
to get there.
clean.
Yes,
Nuclear
that's
power
true.
is black.
Yeah,
Nuclear
I guess
power uses far more carbon by far than
Mm-hmm.
coal and everything else. So there are things that are just definitely wrong,
yes.
but let's not fight among each other because we're human beings.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can. Of course, nothing's perfect. Humans definitely are what's causing a lot of the issues, but if we're going to live here on this land, we have to figure out ways to lessen our footprint and not destroy the planet so as quickly as we are, I think.
Thank you for doing your part.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. Oh, sorry, COVID. We do this now. And it was Edie, you said?
Uh-huh.
Very nice to meet you. Have a good day. I'll get my car out of the way.
I think they've already got
They found a way. Okay, well, I'm going to head out anyway. Thank you so much for paying attention and listening, and hopefully you're doing your part. I'm just trying to spread the word and use my platform to get the messages out for this activist group in particular, Extinction Rebellion. I've been following them for a while, and I've been to a few of their protests, and I think what they're doing is great, and their protests are very intentional, and they're great. So follow them on Instagram, and I think their link is in their bio so that you can get on their newsletter, their email list. And hey, what's up, Kate Variable? And you'll hear, if you're in Portland, you'll hear about the local actions. And I think that they're probably everywhere in the US, but they're pretty active here in Portland. So I feel like there's always something going on. The makerspace, the collab space that I am helping to put together with my nonprofit, with our nonprofit, is where, I don't know if you've gone to protest and seen that huge fire truck it has like a different billboard each time, depending on what the action is. That is parked there, so it's pretty cool to see the inner workings of what's going on, the activist scene. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on. Hope you have a great day. Peace, love, donuts. Chris Dez here, Portland, Oregon. Have a wonderful day.